Hello and welcome to another live edition of the Streakers On podcast. It is I, the popped collar, make the ladies want to holler, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, and I am joined by the only man that can rock that Air Jordan swagalicious on the channel. It's Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
Big game today for two teams, right? Ottawa's looking to try to fight back into the playoffs. Calgary's winning streak was snapped. Vernon Adams Jr. is not in the lineup for Calgary. Drew Brown is in the lineup for Ottawa along with Addison. Could we see Ottawa pull off an upset tonight, Mr. Moore, for?
I think so. I picked it to Ottawa to win this game. Addison's a key piece that's been out all year for the most part. And Drew Brown, believe it or not, has not won a game yet this season. He has had a 400-yard game, but he hasn't won a game. And he went from taking Ottawa all the way to the 7 Eastern Finals last year with a 400-yard game, that game, to no wins this season. It doesn't make sense. So something's got to give. I think it's going to give tonight without VA in the lineup and with their backup quarterback, Walker.
PJ Walker. Now, I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions on PJ Walker. I'm seeing some people are saying they think he's going to be really, really good. I see other people thinking he's going to be absolutely terrible. I think he's going to be in the middle. I think he will play decent. And I think for Calgary to beat Ottawa, they just need decent quarterback play.
Yeah.
Right? And because they have the best running game in the league right now with Dedrick Mills is just absolutely killing it. And Ottawa does not have a good run defense. So now Malden's back into the lineup for Ottawa, though. That's something you got to think about. You know, he's a tank on that defensive line. But I do think Calgary is going to bounce back in this one. And you know what? I think they're going to win this game without VA. Now, that's not me saying this team doesn't need VA. VA is arguably the best quarterback in the CFL right now. And I think arguably, because you could really argue between him, Trevor Harris, and Levi Mitchell are kind of your three quarterbacks that on any given Sunday could be the best quarterback in the league.
For sure.
But I'm curious just to see, like, when we're looking at Ottawa, it's not even like they've been playing necessarily that poorly. They're just not finding ways to win, right?
A lot of it's just bad luck.
Same time, though, good teams find ways to win, bad teams find ways to lose.
Oh, 100%. We say on the island here quite a bit.
And I think there's a lot more pressure now on Ottawa with BC and Winnipeg hovering around that crossover. You have Toronto, who just got their second win of the year. If you're Ottawa, you want to win to keep pace, right?
Oh, 100%.
And I think if you are Ottawa, if you lose this one without Vernon Adams Jr. in the lineup, that's going to be tough. Because the first one you beat Calgary in, let's be honest, Mother Nature was a huge impact in that one.
We definitely helped, yeah.
And I feel this is one that you really need if you're Ottawa.
Well, that's the thing. I actually forgot that Ottawa got their one win against Calgary earlier this year, right? So I got to feel confident about that.
I mean, kicking should not be an issue here in Ottawa today, as the wind is only 13 kilometers an hour. And now, the only thing that can be an issue is there's been some air quality issues in Ottawa. So do we see that affecting maybe teams trying the run game so much if your running backs are getting gassed from the poor air quality? So maybe you're going to have to air it out. And
I don't think so. I mean,
see it.
Because you got multiple running backs, right? So if one's out of oxygen, you put them on the tank and put it in your backup for a couple of drives.
The difference is, though, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like Ottawa, even though Calgary's ran the ball better, Ottawa's got a better backup running back. Like right now, Stanback and Anna Baboye have been playing pretty damn comparable. They have
kind of 1A and 1B, I would say.
Yes. Where Calgary is certainly Dedrick Mills is their horse. He's half horse, half man, as on company time.
No.
Can't tell. That sounds like half horse, half cow. But no, I think this is going to. I am projecting we will see a much more entertaining game than the last time these two teams played.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last time these two teams played, it was lot of rain. Ottawa did come away with the win, but like Dustin Crum went 9 for 22, 111 and a TD, and VA went 37 for 32, 218 and an interception. The running game was big for both of these teams last time. Epanamoboye running for 96 yards, Stanback running for 82, Crum running for 64, and then Calgary, Dedrick Mills 96, but then no one else really. Your next best rusher is VA.
Right.
So I will be curious to see what kind of offense a PJ Walker offense is like.
Yeah, he's got he does have NFL experience. He's not shy of football. He's not a rookie of football as a whole, but he is a rookie to the CFL. So, bigger ball, bigger field, more men on the field, the wiggle, bigger end zones. He's got a lot of learning. But as you said, Jay, he's had a week of first rep practices, right? So
but you gotta remember, like back in 2020, Walker did go 5-0 in the XFL, 1,338 yards, 15 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Like it's not like he doesn't have football experience.
Right.
Like even in 2020, in that COVID year, he was 4th in completion percentage, 1st in passing yards, 1st in touchdowns, 2nd in quarterback ranking, and 3rd in rushing yards.
Wow.
So, and
how many teams are in that league?
Around the same as the CFL.
9, okay, yeah.
But, I just mean, I will be very curious to see what PJ Walker's looks like here.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, he didn't really get much attention. He never really got much of a shot in the NFL. He was very good for the Houston Roughnecks in the XFL. So, I will be curious to see how he does, right? Can he be... the key is for him to not try to be Vernon Adams Jr. because he's just not.
Well,
but
who is, right?
It's kind of like with Nick Arbuckle replacing Chad Kelly right now. As long as he isn't trying to be Chad, then you have something here. He's such a Chad, bro. But I think for PJ Walker, he's got to realize, look, Calgary is a good team with a really good defense. Just don't turn the ball over. Even if you can just drive for field goals with Paredes, who's a very accurate kicker, Calgary still has a very good chance of winning this game. I did project Calgary to win this one.
You did, yeah. I did challenge you a rivalry on the Streakles app earlier today, so we'll see who.
I'm jumping in right now, bro.
Nice.
By the way, if you guys could see this, this is just looking so much better than it used to.
Yeah, new.
So if you haven't updated your Streakers app yet, well, make sure you're updating it because it really is out. It's outstanding.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, big things coming for Streakers, so stay tuned to all that.
Oh, 100%. There's always big things going on in Streaker Island, in the Streakers app. But I am curious, Dan, we have a little bit of time. What do you think of the Blue Jays adding a former Cy Young Award-winning pitcher?
I'm excited. That's very, very
cool.
We were saying last night in our pre-recorded show that we all felt the Jays needed an extra pitcher to have an extra starter to offset the bullpen. I think this was great. Yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble because he's been injured for most of the year, but pretty much the whole year, I think. But because of his injury, we got him for next to nothing. So when he's ready to play, we got a steal of a deal, and hopefully he's ready to play soon.
I personally think it's a good decision. You didn't have to give up a lot to get him. So to me, it's just a smart move.
That's the only trade the Jays did today, right?
Yeah, I believe, yes, the only one I saw today. But remember, they did pick up that other bullpen guy a couple days
in Baltimore.
Ago.
So
basically, the Jays did what I said they should do. They just improved their pitching a bit.
Right. So they added a good starter. They added a good bullpen guy, and that's exactly what this team needed. I would have liked to see a home run heavy hitter kind of. Oh, actually, we are missing a trade.
I'm trying to announce.
Oh, so they got a catcher from the San Diego Padres.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon. Eunice. Sorry, what's that name? And the Jays traded Will Wagner to San Diego.
Okay.
So as a roster piece, we were talking about moving a roster piece to get someone else. I think the main reason they did that trade was because of Harvey Angel's Kirk concussion, just to be safe. I would imagine.
I would think.
And Will Wagner is good in the, and then of course everyone was Bieber, the trade we were talking about. So that's very interesting that they did make another trade there.
Especially Wagner, who's been a young player who's been playing pretty well. But, I mean, they did really need to add in the pitching column with the injury to Alejandro Kirk, right? So they went out and they added someone into their catching unit. He is only 24.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's having a decent year, 229 batting average with 12 home runs, 46 RBIs in 87 games. So he's not a superstar, but he does rank second among AA catchers with a 34.7% caught steal percentage, which that's an impressive stat. So he's a guy that is going to be able to run. He's going to be able to throw people out at the plate. It's just adding a little bit of depth.
Well, very good insurance because of Hunter Angel's Kirk injury. Obviously, he's an all-star catcher. As also, he made the all-star game again this year, and you're not going to get all-star catchers in very often. And it's unusual to see a catcher be good at the bat, like with 12 home runs. That's an awesome bonus. And you might think I'm crazy, Jacob, but I think one reason why they did so bad in that Baltimore series was because they didn't have Kirk behind home plate.
Not totally out to lunch. Like I said, for the Jays, it's just important. Now the trade deadline's done, so everyone who was rumored about being traded is staying, besides a Wagner. But besides a Wagner, you kept this team together while adding 3 good pieces. So now the key is just, can this team just play some good baseball?
Yeah, that's the key.
That's what it comes down to. And that's what's going to come down to as well for the Ottawa RedBlacks not playing good baseball. But they have not been playing the best football. And I will be curious to just see, can they find a way to maybe create some more turnovers, right? Because this is the team that is not creating enough turnovers, in my opinion. Like, Calgary has forced 20 turnovers this year. And Ottawa has turned the ball over the third most with 17 individual turnovers. So I think the turnover battle will really be what defines this game. And will it be, can Ottawa flip that script? You know what? Maybe bait PJ Walker with some fake blitzes that drop into coverage. We see that a lot in the Canadian Football League. And maybe that's a way you can try to, bait him into making a bad throw.
Right. And, we also say, especially in CFL, usually whoever wins the turnover game ends up winning the game. Turnover game's a huge factor in the CFL. You can get a pick 6, that's like icing on the cake.
And we talk about the quarterbacks, but do remember that Addison is back in the lineup for the Ottawa RedBlacks. And this guy is averaging 10.5 yards per reception. So basically, he's a first down every catch. And look, that's going to make a huge difference. Also, something in Calgary is not lost yet on the road. Right. Ottawa has not won yet at home. So there's a good chance something gives here. And I don't know about you, Dan, but I was really surprised that Ottawa struggled so much at home this year, when last year at home they were dominant.
I'm surprised Ottawa is struggling as much as a team. You think about after they went to the Eastern semifinals last year, you think you had something to build on. You got some key pieces in free agency this year with the Gene Lewis, for example. That was one of the biggest fists in the sea, and you went out and got him, and the team's just not clicking at all. So I'm very surprised. So hopefully we can start turning around tonight and get that going, right?
And I don't know if you agree with me. I would just really like to see Ottawa use this run game more than what they have, because you have 2 good running backs in William Stanback and Dan Anababoye.
Because they didn't have that last year.
No, and I don't think Bob Dice has adjusted very well to having a run game.
No, I don't think so either.
So the one game you won, you ran the ball very effectively.
He did, yes.
So maybe just start, maybe, you know what, to take some pressure off Drew Brown, just run the damn ball.
Yeah.
Because if you're dropping back to pass 35, 40 times, then teams can just blitz you all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And Drew Brown likes to bomb the ball downfield to these, like, you know, I'd say the medium plays, which is like your 10 to 20 yards. But to do those even 15-yard plays, you need time in the pocket.
Yeah.
So if Calgary can blitz, but then on the alternative, if maybe Ottawa runs the ball a little more effectively tonight, then maybe that's how you fix that issue.
What keeps Calgary's defensive line honest, right? They can't blitz and jump and all that when they don't know what they're doing.
Which Calgary's defensively this year, they have been one of the best teams in the Canadian Football League defensively, right?
Oh, it's a treat to watch. They're pretty incredible.
Like, I mean, they've just been finding ways. Like Calgary have Hutchins, who is tied for second in the CFL in sacks with 4, only one behind Chatfield of the Argonauts with 5. But like Calgary, you have Hutchins with 4, Hicks with 3. So you have 2 players in the top 3 in sacks right now. Right. And that's going to make such a big difference because it's giving you the ability to really, really blitz the quarterback. And when you're blitzing, you're creating turnovers. And that's how Adrian Green has 4 interceptions and is leading the CFL in interceptions right now. Right.
Wow.
So this is, I truly feel this is going to be a really, really tough game for Ottawa, even without Vernon Adams Jr., because you got to find a way to score against this defense.
I totally agree. Yeah.
But you still think Ottawa is going to get it done? You think Ottawa is going to improve to 2 wins?
I do. I'm rooting for Shades, a good listener and friend of the program who's a season ticket holder out there. And I just feel like, I feel like after the Argos beat Winnipeg, it puts so much pressure on Ottawa. Ottawa wants to stay tied for the basement. I don't think they want to own the basement.
Well, but what's going to be tough for Ottawa, Dan, is they are the second lowest scoring team in the league, and actually the lowest if you go for points per game.
Yeah.
So, because they've only scored 148 points over 7 games. Where you look at Toronto, for example, Toronto has scored 184 over 7 games. Edmonton scored 136 points, but only over 6 games.
Yeah,
so, and you look, it's the teams that are in the basement are the teams that aren't scoring. The only team that's really, Winnipeg is hanging on to a playoff spot for dear life, but they still, their scoring differential is bad. You look at the good teams, Montreal and Hamilton, Saskatchewan and Calgary, as I would kind of put those in my tier 1 teams. These are teams that have a really good differential and they have explosive offenses. Like Calgary has 202 points so far this season compared to only 134 allowed, where Ottawa's only scored 148 and they've allowed 203. So
it's a big difference.
And I really think Ottawa, they've been struggling with losing Webb this year.
Oh, that's a tough loss. Webb is one of the most underrated players in the league, in my opinion. He is so good at what he does. And losing him, you can see, is a big gap there.
And remember, he's in Calgary.
Yeah.
This is Webb making his return game back to Calgary.
Right.
So I'm going to be curious to see how this goes. I mean, I would say, I think Ottawa is going to be more desperate for a win. So I'm curious if Bob Dice finally gets a bit more aggressive and maybe on some 3rd and 2s at midfield, you're just going for it.
Well, at this point, you got to wonder, when is Bob Dice's job on the line?
Like their GM, Sean Burke, did say that Bob Dice's job is secure, but we've seen GM say that, and then they're fired 3 weeks later.
But it's like I expecting more out of Ottawa versus Edmonton because, like I said, Ottawa made it to the Eastern semifinals last year, and go from that to a 1-6 record. Like, what's going after you spent money in free agency? What's going on? You got Eugene Lewis. You got 2 good running backs. Like, it's not like you just sat back like Winnipeg. Oh, well, we're not going to spend the salary cap. And it's not like you're like Toronto. And like, oh, well, we lost. I know we lost Brown for a game or 2, but it's not like they've lost first-star franchise player for the whole year, right? So
they did lose a lot of defensive players, though, and I think that's what hurt them. They lost some key players in the secondary, and you're seeing Ottawa getting burned in the secondary. And Drew Brown, even when he's been healthy, 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, 1,078 yards in 4 games. It's not bad, but it's not Drew Brown numbers that you're necessarily thrilled about. Like Drew Brown last year in 17 did put up just under 4,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, only 10 picks.
I was
right?
going to say, I think it was 4,000-yard year for him last year.
Basically was a 4,000-yard year. And if he didn't get injured, I think Drew Brown might have been an MOP candidate last year if he didn't get hurt. So I'm just looking for a little more out of Drew Brown, and I think it beat this Calgary defense is going to have to involve the run game more to open up the passing.
I would think so, yeah. So it's going to be a good game to watch either way.
Oh, 100%. I think I'm. So then I want to ask you then, Dan. I projected a lower scoring game in this one. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I can see that. I think if air quality is an issue, I didn't know about that. I think with PJ Walker winning the offense, you're going to see more running versus deep throwing the way VA likes to do. So yeah, I can see a lower scoring game.
Because I set the combined 40 points to 44. How are we feeling about that?
44. I don't remember what I said last night, but yeah, I think it'll be 44. I think it might be higher than 44 overall, but we'll see.
See, I still think we could see a little less than 44. I think that it really depends because Calgary's offense without Walker and Alford is a total wild card. We don't know.
Oh yeah, no Alford too. That's right.
Right, and Alford, yeah, the Moose. He's been your best 50-50 ball receiver this year in Calgary.
What best in the league this year?
He's already got 5 TDs. He's been huge for them. Hamstring injury. Hopefully he's not out for too long for Calgary. But how are we still feeling about PJ Walker at 225 yardage tonight?
I don't think he's going to hit that.
See, I think he will. I think he'll be able to. I'm seeing some people say, oh, he won't even get 100 yards. I've seen the odd person say he's going to put up 350. I think that 225 is kind of I think they're going to pass the ball enough. I think they're going to run the ball more, which is why I said yes to Calgary rushing 135 yards in total. I think they're going to get that done tonight.
Right.
But do you think Ottawa can create some turnovers finally? Because they've not been able to create enough turnovers. Do you think they can create some turnovers?
I think so. I think we might get a pick 6. We've seen Brown in the past, throw it up there 50-50. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? So I can see Calgary creating a turnover.
So this wasn't in the props, but I'm going to say I think maybe you just see, if nothing's working, you might see Brown just try to force it to Eugene Lewis.
Yeah, I would think so.
As let's be honest, Eugene Lewis is one of those receivers that can catch 50-50 balls.
But if I double cover Eugene Lewis, or we'll be double covering Lawler and Hamilton?
I don't see them doing that just because Lewis isn't putting up that caliber of a season. He's having a very good season, but it's not to the same extent.
Yeah.
When we're looking here on the receiving stats, Eugene Lewis, actually funny enough, right now it's Keon Hatcher from BC leading the way, but he's played one more game than everyone else. He's played 8 games, where Lawler and Coxie, who are in 2nd and 3rd right now, are currently only played 7. But Eugene Lewis right now is 6th in receiving yards.
But still not bad.
No, it's not. But surprisingly, he only has 1 play for over 30 yards.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Where you look Keon Hatcher's got 5, Kenny Lawler's got 8, and DeMonte Coxie has got 8.
Wow, that's a lot.
Which is crazy to think that Coxie is 8 with Nick Arbuckle under center. That's right?
That's crazy stuff.
So I will be curious to see, even right now, Kevin Mittal has 2 plays for over 30 yards, where Eugene Lewis only has 1.
Wow.
So I think Ottawa's got to find a way to get Eugene Lewis just more involved. He only has 2 touchdowns this year. He's averaging 14 yards per play. So just get him involved more. He's a guy, send him on some deep routes, let him win some 50-50 balls.
Well, remember his time in Edmonton, and I'll forget where he was before that, but he did hold a record in most consecutive touchdowns a game. Got up to what, 10?
Oh yeah, 10, which was impressive.
You know,
So you just gotta get him the ball.
I could see him going back on a one there.
And Ottawa needs him too if they have a shot.
Oh yes, 100%.
Because even you're looking here, like Justin Hardy's not even like he's sitting right now at 18th in the league, which is crazy. He doesn't have a single catch for over 30 yards. Where Justin Hardy last year was, they're arguably their best wide receiver. So this Ottawa offense has just got to find its identity.
It does, yeah.
Where like you look at Calgary's where they are finding they seem to have their identity, right? It's now what's that identity like without Vernon Adams Jr. is the $1 million question.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
But we will find out tonight. But before we go, as we're just about to be kickoff, quickly, are you still taking Ottawa tonight?
I am. I guess you're telling me Ottawa all week, so I'm going for it.
I am sticking to logic. We have logic versus guts. Dan's taking the Ottawa RedBlacks. I'm taking the Calgary Stampeders. We will be back for a post-game show, so make sure you join the conversation there. Please ignore the random comment from Twitch. You cannot get cheap views on Steamboo. No idea what the heck that is. We do not sponsor it. We're not sponsored by Steamboo, and we can't be because I don't think they actually exist. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining the Streakers Island Podcast Live Edition. We will be back for a post-game show. But until then, see you in a bit. I may even post something at halftime on the story, so keep your eyes open.
Ooh, interesting. Bye-bye.